For today's project, you need quite a bit of fabric. The first piece you need is going to be 18 inches by 35 long. The second piece is 16 wide by 47 long. And then you need a piece 4 by 12. For today's project, excuse me, I split my numbers in half. So I cut 2 pieces of fabric and I just split that 16 and 18 in half for the width. Because I'm going to make mine reversible. If you don't want to do that, just do one big piece of fabric. I quilted mine already. If you want it quilted, make sure you cut that fabric bigger, then quilt it, then cut it to size, because you have to account for the shrinkage of the fabric, the shifting, the twisting, right? You don't want to cut yourself short, especially with fabric of that size. This isn't just a, oh, toss it aside and cut new fabric. This is a pretty big piece, so you want to make sure that when you do your final cutting after quilting it, if you choose to, that you have enough of it. So go ahead, get that fabric together, have it all set to go. Again, those measurements are 18 by 35, 16 by 47, 4 by 12. And if you want to do a reversible one, you will need to make sure you cut that number in half. So 2.5 by 12, 8.5 by 47, or 9.5 by 35. And I add that 1/2 inch in there for the seam allowance so that your final measurements are what we need. And then this is going to be our strap. So you're going to go all the way around, leave a tiny little hole or a big enough hole for you to be able to flip it. Because then after you sew it, you're going to flip it around, press it good, top stitch it. You're going to totally seal it off. This is going to be our bow part. So this is the one that is 18 by 35 when we started. We stitched open the one. Go ahead, flip it the correct side out. And I used polyester batting, so I'm not going to iron. If you use polyester and you want to iron, be warned, okay? But I am going to maybe very gently iron it flat, and then I'm going to top stitch down both of those sides. Because it is going to be reversible, I want to make sure the fabrics kind of stay put and they don't shift from front to back. So top stitching is the #1 way to do that. Okay, we have top stitched. And again, what that does is that's going to make sure this fabric doesn't peek through when we have it on one side or the other. So pick a direction. It doesn't matter. You're just going to fold it in half. And you are going to sew this end from end to end. This is a trust the process moment, you guys. I promise this is not going to be visible when it is assembled. So go ahead, fold it in half, sew along here. So I'm going to do a straight stitch, and then I'm actually going to go back over with a zigzag just to secure that batting a little bit better. So at this point we have our strip that we're going to add snaps to, and that's going to be what holds it together. We have this part, which is our bow part in the middle, okay? So that'll be this part. Now we need to do the tails. So go ahead and grab that piece. So now we have to work on the tails. This is our piece that measures 47 inches long. We have it just clipped together the long way. There's our fold. So what I like to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and I like that it has these angles on here. And so I will line it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. I center it as best I can. I am 4 inches up. And if you want these to be higher, you can make them higher, you can make them smaller. Okay, so that's one side. And then what I do to ensure that I have them equal, take one of them and you're gonna cut the other side because you want them to have the same angle. So this is what it's going to look like. This is the 47-inch folded in half. Okay, we have clipped on one side. Here's our fold. And we have those cut into it, okay? You're going to sew like all the way around. So start right, and you're going to leave a spot to flip it. Continue on, go all the way down, do that. And then when you are done, we will come back and I'll show you a couple little tricks to get these corners nice and pointy. Okay, so I have it all sewed minus a spot to flip it. What you need to do is you need to clip your corners. You're gonna do this on both edges. So clip your corners, pesky little string, okay? And then this spot right in the middle, right in here, you're gonna nip that ever so slightly. See? And then when you flip it and you poke those corners out with a dull object, I like to use a knitting needle, it's not gonna have a bulge in there. Little insider tip there, you guys. So go ahead, do that, flip it. You need to gently press it, right? Because we have that polyester in here. And then you're gonna top stitch all the way around, just like we did with the other piece. So now we need to add snaps, and snaps are important because if this is going to be reversible, we need to be able to take this off and put it right back on. So I measure 11 inches completed, and I measured 2.5 inches in from each end. So I'm going to place a snap towards the end and a snap at 2.5 inches, and then another set 2.5 inches in and the edge. And that way, when we have snaps, we can snap it, but then if we flip it, we can also snap it. So we will have a total of 4 snaps on here.